Hello loves, this your boy the Cosmic Cultivator. Appreciate you for checking out this video. No, I'm just joking with you. Appreciate you for checking out this video. Cosmic Cultivator, we're back again with another grow. This time we got 5 autoflowers, 4 of them in plastic pots, 1 in a fabric pot, and a continuation of growing our OG Kush from the first time we started growing photoperiods. I'll leave it an annotation, This is an educational video. Contents are for adults 21 years of age or older. We're legal. Nothing is for sale. I'm not providing any sources. I'm only documenting my grow. Dope. You see that right there? I'm trying to do something new with that. Trying something new. Let me know what you think in the comments. That
looks dope.
Kind of logo intro. Nice. Today's video, we're gonna just be setting up this here tent. We're gonna be actually going through all the plant cycle from seed to harvest, 5 autoflowers, and we're going to continue growing our photoperiod that we had started multiple moons ago. And at the beginning of the run, our main focus was on the northern light plants and just watching how they start, or how they started off and settled into the environment. I'm running 4 of them in a plastic pot with Gaia Green Soil, 1 in a fabric pot with Fox Farm Happy Frog. Since I already had the Fox Farm on hand, the Gaia Green was something I picked up separately from the hydroponic shop because I wanted to test it to see how it was compared to the ocean forest. We got it set up and this is what we're looking like right now. Nice. We've got seeds coming out. So far 2. Not quite. Three. So far we got about 3 and 4. Let's check. Not quite. So we've got 3 out of 5. Who has? We're gonna let it grow, let it go. These leaves are getting nice and jumbles and nice and big. Then we're gonna move it around and stuff like that. I don't know, like having the leaves touch the pots could possibly lead to any kind of bugs that are in the other pots to try to leach onto this plant. So I'm like looking at it, I'm like, come on, man. There's nothing I can do besides bend it around, low stress train. This time around, we're going just straight organics still. I saw some things online about synthetics. I want to test synthetics out as well and compare synthetics versus organics and see which one tastes better, which one smokes better, which one looks better flower-wise and veg-wise. Contemplating if I should just go ahead and grab myself one of those clips to help train it down or just keep bending it right here just to make it malleable. If anything, we're just going to keep doing that. As before, we did make ourselves some makeshift stands here out of just some simple wood. I believe the cost of it was like $5 to $7 just to make these here stands. And we're back. As you can tell, we have the fan blowing lower on the lower half of the plant and not on the top half of the plant, which is the ceilings, because we only have one fan that is actually good at the moment. We do have a fan here that's embedded into the actual light itself, but it's not really that well, or it's not that good. It doesn't push a lot of air circulation. But we do also have the other fan here to the left, or it's like one of those black budget fans from Vivo Sun. That fan pushes a lot of air. I didn't want to use it because it would knock those ceilings or push them around a little bit too much, causing them to have some kind of stress that we don't even need right now. And so far, 5 out of 5, success. 5 seedlings planted, 5 seedlings have emerged. Let's go, baby. Unfortunately, that fan is going to be our downfall in the future. But hey, live and you learn. You live and you learn. At this point, everything is still early, and I'm mostly just documenting the progress and showing the progress of the plant or how the plant got established. You'll also notice that the OG Kush is still in the background while this new run is getting underway. That's one thing I really want these uploads to do. Feel like ongoing journals or ongoing journeys where each video builds into the next one. So I'm basically just giving you a preview of what's coming up, and from then it's really showing you the progress of the plant and documenting how things are going to grow. We're looking nice. So that black fan is the one I'm speaking on. Pretty early on, maybe around day 3-ish, I started noticing signs of fungal gnats that were occurring in the pot. Ugh, yuck. We did have issues with fungal gnats in the past, but we managed to get rid of them in the last grows. That's why you see recently that I've been sitting here and using like sticky traps in every pot, every grow, because we've had them before, and now I'm just thinking, hey, I'm gonna use them just in case. And look at what happened just in case. Off camera, we transplanted this beauty from a 1-gallon pot to a 3-gallon pot. So we're looking at a 3-gallon pot at the moment. I ended up having to build some of these here stands or something like that. Go to Menards, grab some wood and whatnot, build some simple stands to help elevate the plants off the ground or have them at the same height as this here Photoperiod, because kind of messed up there. And I got this one vegging a little bit too long aside of the next grow, and I had no space besides the Zazzy tint, which was already underway in flower at the moment, and the last grow tint. So we're back here. We finally got the dome covers off because we finally have some signs of growth happening. We're still having this here OG Kush sitting in the background, just growing along the side. We got our light here. For some reason, we're getting some loud ringing sounds. It's been like that since day 1 since I bought this light. So if that's something that's also happening to you, let me know in the comments below. Vivo Sun A200 SE. That's what we're rocking right now. Of course, we can always upgrade to a better light, but that's also for future things to upgrade to. Yes. That's also for future things that we can look forward to upgrading to when the stars align. So right now, this kind of grow turns into a small experiment between 2 container types and the 2 soil choices at the moment. At this point, everything is still early, and we're just mostly documenting the progress and showing the process as the plant gets established. You'll notice the OG Kush still in the background while the new run is still underway, which is part of what makes these videos all connected together over time. That's one thing I really like with these uploads that I do. It feels like it's an ongoing journey or journal where each video builds into the next one. As we're wandering in the plants, we're starting to notice some kind of fungal gnats, or say. We really don't have any wind or kind of draft over at the top of the canopy because we only had this one Vivo Sun fan that we had pointed towards the OG Kush to help with its growth. Nice. Now we finally move the fan so that we have proper airflow over the canopies of the ceilings. I should have honestly taken that white fan and put it over the ceilings and have the black fan underneath the canopy and not have it directly at the actual OG Kush. But you know, you live and you learn. Next time, that's something I would do if I'm going to be in this situation where I have an OG Kush and I still got plants growing in the same cycle or the same tint at the same time. Nice. So we added in some more traps because I'm starting to see even more fungal nests flying around and the actual fan is not doing nothing about it. It's got to be this plant right here, because this is the plant right here where we had the fox farm. This right here is Gaia Green Soil. This is Gaia Green as well, and Gaia Green as well, and the other one is also Gaia Green. So the only variable here could be possibly the fox farm, because we're seeing the situation, or we're seeing more of the actual infestation of gnats in the front of the pot, which is towards the fox farm soil. But those are looking good in the back compared to this right hand one, which looks like it has a lot more. But we're looking good right now. We just slowly watering in around the start or the base of the plant, but not watering in the stem of the plant, because once the plant stem gets too diluted with water, you're done. You're gonna lose it. And I know from experience that I've lost a number of plants and seedlings by watering the plant's base instead of watering around the plant itself. Just moistening the soil, getting it moist, and trying to stop watering as much as possible to try to prevent these here fungal gnat issues from occurring. As I said before, it's kind of a situation that we had ended before, and now we are seeing it again, and it's very unfortunate. Trying to see if we can see it right there. There we go. Yeah, we got some more. And I started, like I said, started watering back, or start watering it as much as before, like we've done in the beginning. It was a little bit saturated and the soil was too moistened. So I've decided to stop watering it and make sure that we focus more on just one spot of the plant itself. We do have our OG Kush plant still here, growing, doing its thing. One OG Kush plant is from the Zazie tent. We had to take one from the Zazie tent and add one of the plants here to the 4x4 because we didn't have any room. So if you want to see the last grow, the last 2 grows ago, we had some plants together with the actual Autoflowers, and we started out growing 3 OG Kushes, and we flowered 2 OG Kush, and we still stuck with this here bigger sized mothering OG Kush that we thought we was gonna take clones from. But unfortunately, that wasn't something that happened, and we'll find out in the future. But for now, we had to bring 2 of the OG Kush here into this tent, and reason was because there wasn't even enough space in the last tent next to it. So hey, at least we got more humidity to help the plant. Now this attempt doesn't end successful, but I still wanted to include it because I think it was important to show the things that work and the things that don't. Cloning is something I'm still learning, and clearly I needed more research on what is needed, what method works best, and how to improve the process moving forward. So while this clone attempt didn't go the way I wanted, it's definitely not the end of the journey. I'm going to keep working on it until I get some real success with it. And if cloning is something you want to see more of in the future, including the research, the setup, and hopefully the successful run, then definitely hit the subscribe button and turn on that bell notification so you don't miss out on future upload, because that's something I absolutely want to come back to in the near future. And as you can tell, we now have only one OG cushion here because we now have the space in the other tent to bring in the other OG Kush that we brought to this tent, if that makes sense. So now we have the space to do so. And now we're going to leave her here to veg. And hopefully she gets the space now and the lighting that she needs. Because before we had these here stands that I built and it was blocking the light penetration, or it was blocking the sun light, or quote unquote sun, from entering any of the structure of the plant, especially to the soil itself. So as soon as we start moving it down, nice, we're looking good. We're nearly a meter high off the ground. And we are about 3.5 inches. Just going in and marking these up to just give you guys a height of what it's looking like right now. Honestly, I'm not keeping track of the actual time or the time frame of how long these ladies were started, or how long it's been since we got them to actually veg. I'm teaching my lady right now about these, how to grow and how they actually are. But we're looking good here. We're having some kind of, what do you want to call it, nitrogen toxicity or something. It's looking a little bit of green blue. Um, that's because we did do another transfer or transplant, and that was from earlier. Nice. We're looking good. We're starting to see the plant is starting to get a little bit better with the fungal gnats. So I decided that, hey, since I'm seeing a little bit of improvement in the soil, maybe I could just top this right here.
Little did he know, he f***ed up.
Nah, jokes aside. I think I kind of messed up by trying to top it, and it kind of made the plant a little stunted in growth and stressed it out. But then again, maybe I didn't, and it was stressed out from the gnats that was in the soil. It could be a combination of multiple of things. All I know is that we're gonna keep on growing. We're gonna keep on growing. This is no matter what happens here. Again, this is all a test. I'm always testing something else.
We've all been topped except this one was topped today, but all the other ones have been topped within the last 48 hours. Now we're gonna do some low stress training. We do got our OG Kush here, doing beautifully.
Now all we gotta do here is just do a little bit of low stress training and just bend down the top node of the plant just a little bit slightly without breaking it. The plant is not big enough to add any clips in yet, unfortunately, but if it was, we'll add in a clip. We're now seeing signs of its sectioning and showing signs of its pistils early on here. I'm just checking to make sure they are showing signs, or maybe they're in different variations of stages of growth.
Just gonna let this one grow out. Try to flower that one in a 4x4. Get it as big as I can. We're gonna repot it first to the bigger pot. I think that's a 3-gallon. We got 3 clones down here. Trying to attempt to clone from OG Kush. Jeez, that sucks. It's already in flower.
And we're back in the tent, just checking things out. Looking how things are going, how things are developing. The Key and I would notice something real quick. But it's been a while since we actually got some actual video recordings. Unfortunately, we deleted some footage or lost some footage. I don't know. Unfortunately, we're good. We're just keep moving along and chugging along like goddamn Thomas the Train up a hill. And we're going to try to keep going as much as we can to put out much content as we can in a timely fashion, ladies and gents. I don't have a schedule. I don't have I don't know, some consistency time to give you guys when I'll be uploading. All I can tell you is that I'm going to be here for the long run. I have multiple videos to go through. When I say multiple, I mean years to go through, years to edit, and thousands of hours to go through and edit, thousands of voiceovers to do. I got tricked. I added diatomaceous earth to the Autoflowers, but not to the Photoperiod. This was part of my response to the net issue, and I wanted to isolate where I could and try to manage the problem without changing everything at once. Based on what I was seeing, I was leaning towards the idea that issue may have come from the Fox Farm. Since the Fox Farm Happy Frog was in the garage, it could have been the reason why we had the gnats, and I hadn't shown any problems of that before. That's again possible. Like I said, that's a hard fact, but based on everything I observed in this run, that seems like it is likely source. The good thing is that I have diatomaceous earth. It did help, and later on it became one of the key things I helped get the issue under control.
So we're going to be switching the light fixture or the light over to
it did turn into a useful lesson for future runs.
Cycle or spectrum, and hope this doesn't flower as well. But we did added some bud clips as well to try to like train it down a little bit. All I did was just bend it back and like just bend it down, bending leaves. We'll go through and strip this when it's ready to go into flower, but for now we're just adding bud clips just to bend it down, just to train it a little bit better. So when it is ready to flower, we'll have a ready to flower plant. So I'm gonna actually flower this one whole plant here in this 4x4 in the future. So that's why I'm trying to grow it out as much as I can. We're nearing 100 days into the veg cycle here. But we're gonna switch this light spectrum to flower, because we are in flower now for these here. We put out some diatomaceous earth because we did have a little problem with pests in the soil, mainly coming from this here old Fox Farm soil that I left in the garage, and it spread to all the other ones. But look at this giant leaf down here for the OG. It's so big as my hand. This one not so, but this down here, just as big. So we're just letting this baby grow as much as we can, tucking leaves wherever we can, and bending these branches to the side. Basically like low stress training it before adding in the actual net in the future. If that makes sense. We do have this branch right here. What the? I think I did it wrong. Dang it. Oh wow. Oh well, we'll fix that in the future. Like that. This will go down this way, like this. Whatever. Because this one's gonna come down even more like this. Yeah, this is gonna be one big giant plant here in this. Whoa. Okay, we have Fox Farm, Ocean Forest, Gaia Green, Gaia Green, Gaia Green, Gaia Green in the fabric. So far, Ocean looks like it's doing better, but then again, it could be just because I'm not watering properly. So we got two different amendments going for the next grow. For yeah, we're gonna be going with actual Gaia Green versus Fox Farm inside of some Photoperiod soil. I mean plants next to my beautiful looking giant overgrown in 3-gallon pot. So it's ready to go up to a 5-gallon tomorrow. Yep. Stay tuned for that.
And we're back. Nice. Look at this. So to get this out, all I have to do is just, I don't know, smash the pot a little bit, force it out on its own. It was stuck. Gotta wait for a little bit of a dry back in order for one to just transplant to another pot. Or if you try to transplant it when it's wet, it's just gonna crumble. Or in my experience, that's what it's done to me. Nice. Root structure's looking beautifully. Nice. It's looking weird on the video, but in person, it's looking a little bit of light, a little light than on video. There it goes. For this, all I have to do is put a little bit of mycorrhizae, or what I'm doing is just putting a little bit of mycorrhizae on the soil, roots, whatever, just to help for inoculation, to help the roots move out into the new soil. Nice. Sweet, all we're doing is just filling in the soil into the pot so that we can fill in the edges with some soil just to give it some rigidity and a little bit of space or a little bit of fresh soil for the plant to reach out to. Unfortunately, this is the only pot that we have, or this is the only pot that we had as of now. So I've noticed that I added a little bit too much soil into it, so I'm taking some out for now. And I'm gonna add some in because we want to have a little bit more space. But once you transplant the plant into a new pot, it needs to have a little bit more room where you could just add a little bit more soil on top of the old soil to give it some more nutrient flow through the top. I don't know, just from experience or just from trial and error. That's just from my experience. I don't know. Also, when it also helps in the future when you're gonna actual top dress, you have some form of new soil on top of it, because when you're watering in your plant, soil over time will compact. It'll become a little bit hard and tough. So when you try to top dress your soil, it's gonna be hard and tough to top dress because the soil on top is hard as a rock, or it's just hard. So now all we got to do is just take a little bit of soil that we took out, and we're gonna just fill in the gaps or just fill in the areas of where we need it. We have in the specific nutrients that was made for adding in only about 3 or 2 gallons of soil, because we already had enough. We didn't have enough space for a new transplant, so we were only able to fit about 1 gallon of new soil into the pot. 1.5, whatever. we were able to fit only a little bit of soil into the new pot. So you live and you learn. Make sure you save some space or get prepared before you do these things. At this point, they've been growing a little bit too. They've been growing long enough that I feel like it's ready for a little more room. And that's what we're doing here today. And the goal is to move them into a larger, bigger container or a pot so that the roots have more space to expand and the plant can keep pushing through veg without getting too crowded. For this grow, I'm still comparing a couple of different things as I go, but for now, I got one plant in a fabric pot and some plants in the plastic pots, and I'm wondering what the different soil setup is. So this transplant is another part of the overall process. When I transplant, I'm trying to keep it smooth and as possible and not stress the plant in any more as possible or as necessary. I want the soil to hold together as well. I want the root ball to stay intact, and I want to get into the new pot without too much of disruption. We had a little bit of error there. You can usually tell when it's about time to transplant because the plant needing water more often, growth starts picking up, and you just get a sense of growth stops picking up, and you just get a sense of that it's ready for some more space. So that's pretty much where we're at with this right now. So I've already got the new pots prepared, soil ready to go, and now it's really just a matter of carefully moving the plant over and getting it settled into the new home. Like always, like this part of growing, because transplanting feels like one of those moments where the plant officially is moving to the next stage. Once it gets to the bigger pot, it has more room to grow out, build up, and keep developing. Of course, anytime you transplant, there can always be the moment where you want it to be an extra careful not to damage anything, especially the roots. So I'm taking my time with this one, making sure everything stays together as best as possible. Once it is in a new pot, I get it centered, fill in around the sides, and let it settle in. Then after that, it's just a matter of letting the plant adjust and continue doing its thing. So let's get this plant transplant done, and a little bit of defoliation as well. Nice. He's looking well. We're nearly finished with this. Unfortunately, we only had, like I said, a 5-gallon pot. And hopefully we get to upgrade it or repot it to a new pot in the near future. All right, sweet. All right, let's get this beauty into the tent now. Move her into the sun, get some natural sunlight into the room. No, I'm just joking. I didn't have no space. But we do got some sunlight. The heavens are reaching upon us. the god or gods are bestowing the greatness of the bud gods. They're like,
You are doing well, my child.
we had to do one of the things I don't like doing, but I don't like packing the soil down too hard. I wanted it firm enough to support the plant, but not tight enough that I'm compacting everything and making it hard for the roots to move through the new soil or new container. So I'll usually work it in gently, make sure that the plant is stable, and make sure I get the watering to help the settling everything naturally. Usually after transplant, I'm keeping my eyes on a few things over the next couple of days. I want to see if the plant stays upright, if the leaves look happy, and if it handles the move without too much stress. Sometimes plants barely react at all, and other times they need a little more time to adjust. Either way, I try not to pile on a bunch of extra stress right after this, so if I just transplant it, I'm usually not trying to do a bunch of heavy training or anything too aggressive immediately after. I'd rather just let the plant settle in first and then let things keep moving once it's comfortable again. Then I'll attempt to try to do a little something, quote unquote, to the plant. Either way, I'm not trying to pile on a bunch of extra stress right now. So if I just transplant it, so for this grow in particular, transplanting is also one of the biggest process in figuring out what's best or what's working best for this setup. I'm looking at different pot types, different soil choices, and I'm trying to learn more from each run as I go. One of the reasons I like showing this part of the process in the video is because transplanting isn't about moving the plant from one pot to another. It's one of those checkpoints in the grow where you get to slow down, look at how the plant is doing, check the roots, and set it up for the next phase. And honestly, I've always liked this stage because I feel like it's a turning point. Once the plant gets into a bigger pot, it feels like it's officially stepping into the next chapter of the growth and has more room, more opportunity to expand, and better foundation for it to come next, for what's to come next. For now, the new container is gonna get watered in, let it settle in, and we'll see what it responds to in the next couple of days to come. We are still using our famous water container to water the plant in some more. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess. I don't know, but it could be better because it takes. There we go. Yeah, like I said, it's just a little too long. But yeah. Let me know in the comments below what you're growing, what you're smoking. Make sure you also drop a sub, drop a like, turn on that bell notification to know when I upload. As I mentioned before, I've got content to upload. I've got thousands of hours to edit. Oh my gosh, it sucks to say that, but I got hours and hours and hours of video to keep me busy because an idle mind is a devil's advocate, at least they say. I don't know. When you ain't got your hands doing anything good for yourself or something like that, you go out to do something bad. At least so that's what they say. we've also decided that now that we're going to take the fans and place the fans right in front of the actual plants itself, because we're still seeing situations with the fungal gnats, and I thought I got it dealt with, but they were like, nah, son. And now we're dealing with it still through this growth. We got diatomaceous earth in there to help get rid of the gnat situation, and then we put the fan there to keep keep the situation under the control, to make sure the plants are not getting eaten or the roots are not getting devoured. I don't know. But all I do know is that maybe next time we think about maybe doing the potting or repotting to a bigger pot into the future, instead of going with the solo one plant, whatever the actual pot we're gonna flower in. Maybe we should just do it in a solo starter cup, and then we'll upgrade to the 1 gallon, and then we'll upgrade it to the 5 gallon if things were permitted to do so. Because before we had actual success or some actual grow, before doing that same process of upgrading pot, and I know a lot of people have said that you shouldn't be doing that, but I've done it and I've had success and none before. So it's like, it's a double-edged sword. Why not try it out yourself? You can do multiple of grows. You can do one pot where you started out with one seed in the soil, seed to harvest, and then you can start one where you up pot it, seed to harvest, and see which one you like. Either way, that's usually what I'm here for. If that's something you like seeing, stay tuned, because that's what I usually am here for. I'm just experimenting, because what's the point of growing if you're not experimenting with your grows, ladies and gents? My gromies and growmettes. My homies and my homette. Nah, what the? Yeah, still trying to water it in. I'm gonna have to just speed that up because it wasn't even finished yet. Like, can you believe it? This whole time I've been sitting here watering it, and it's not even done yet. So I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a bad thing. But we finally got her repotted, watered, and it's oddly enough, we're not seeing any kind of fungal gnats here on the Photoperiod, but we're seeing a lot of fungal gnats that are on the Autoflowers, which is weird. Is that something you ever encountered before? Let me know in the comments below, because this is the first time I've ever grew like this, and this is the first time I ever encountered this. But look at her, she's looking beautiful. Nice, they're still doing good, all considering the situation. By this point, the plant had some time to reestablish themselves, and now it's about time to give them some space that they needed and continue the development. I topped the soil with some 444 and some 284 by Gaia Green, as per recommended by the labeling of the container, per the gallons of container of soil that I'm using. This is where the progress becomes really clear. At this point of the plant, it's been moving along, and all I want to do is add a little extra support, giving it extra support going into the next stages of its growth. So top dressing is one of those things I like to do when I want to fresh up the medium a bit and add some nutrients without doing anything too extreme all at once. So what I'm doing here is adding in the next layer, adding in a layer right on top of the soil, and then working it in lightly. I don't want to disturb the roots too much, and definitely don't want to go digging around into the pot. The goal is just to spread it evenly across the surface so that when you water it in, it could be broken down or break down, becoming available to the plant over time. That's one thing I like about top dressing. It's not always an instant reaction, but it gives the plant something to work with as it keeps moving forward. It's more of a gradual support moving than a quick fix. So with these northern lights, I'm mainly trying to stay ahead of keep them happy enough through the stages of flower instead of waiting until the start asking me for more. I'd rather just be a little proactive and give them what they need before they start showing signs that they're running a little low. When doing a top dressing, I try to keep it even as possible across the pot. I don't want to go on one side, get everything on one side while the other side gets almost nothing. So I'm just taking my time, spreading it out and making sure that covers everything pretty consistent. After that, I'll be lightly working in the top layer, not too deep, and then water it in. When I say not too deep, I'm talking about massaging it in a little bit to the top soil, maybe like a half an inch, maybe a couple centimeters, but to each their own. Just test it, see how it goes for you. Once it's watered, that's when it can start settling in and the medium can do its thing. This part of the grow is always kind of the important because it's one of those small maintenance steps that can make the difference later. It may not look like a huge change on the camera, but giving the plant a little extra support now can help keep pushing things forward without slowing them down in the future if needed. Again, this is slow active release fertilizer, so the plant is just going to uptake the nutrients when it's needed. So what I'm doing here is just giving the northern lights a little top dressing, watering in, and letting them keep rolling in all sense of purposes, just to sum up what's going down. That's kind of the nice thing about top dressing, to be honest. It's a slow process, but it keeps things moving and gives the plant some support without having to overdo things. So I'm going to spread this out, water it in and everything, and we'll see how the northern lights respond to it in the next few days. Sometimes I find myself recording, and then I go back and I delete my recording. And I go, hey, that was a waste of time. But sometimes you just gotta waste time to get time. What? I don't know. At this point, I'm like brain farting right now. My brain has hit fart mode. Let me know in the comments below what are you growing on? How things are growing for you. Right now, I'm dabbling into learning about how to do those arrow pots, or is it called arrow pots? Yeah, I'm looking to do something with water. Let me know in the comments below what you're growing on, what you're doing. I'm currently researching and trying to figure out how to get an auto water pot system going so we can stick with soil, because I've started to switch things up and I kind of miss going with soil. Hint, hint. Gives you a little hint right now about what we're working with, but I kind of miss growing with soil and the flavor that the soil or the plant gave, because I think there's a difference between soil and other ways of growing, because there's some nutrients in the soil, there's some chemical compounds in the soil that you can't get with other things because it just grows like that. It's from the earth, it's made from earth, it's like it's made to grow like that. And in the other ways that I grow, I mean, hey, to each his own, but still, we're gonna go back to doing soil in the near future. Since this run already had a few different variables growing on, especially with the different soils and the net issues early on, I'm just trying to be a little more careful with the changes I make. I'd rather make little adjustments at this point, watch how the plant responds, and go from there instead of doing too much of all at once. So I'm just going pot by pot, spreading everything in out evenly, wondering, lightly working it in and lightly working it into the surface, and then after that, I'll water it in and let the northern lights keep doing their thing. This part is not the most dramatic thing or drastic thing in the grow, but these small maintenance steps can make a difference later on. Sometimes it's the little things that help keep the plants healthy and steady as you move through the next stages. So that's what's going on here. Top dressing the northern lights inside the other tent as well. I just showed you what I was doing, but now I'm top dressing what's in the tent, watering in afterwards, and then watching how the plant responds in the next few days. Kind of sounds like a broken record, but there's not much that we can say here with steps, or that we can say without having YouTube be like, yo, nope, nope, come on, stop it, buddy. You both stop it right now. You're gonna get yourself caught up in a little bit of stuff here. Yeah, I don't know why they have a accent like that. I don't know. They just they got an accent. They got that their accent. You know what I mean? I don't know. We're nearly convinced. We got ourselves some. Also, what is it called? Neem oil. I've looked up online. I decided to get some neem oil as well because I heard that neem oil spray can help. Not to be specific with its brand, but we just got some kind of neem oil spray that we didn't have to work with diluting and all that magical stuff. And we're back here, and this is what it's looking like after doing the top dressing and stuff like that. We're going to have to water it in too as well, of course. But we've went ahead and topped this here OG Kush. This is now my third time doing so, and I've now done 4 locations. Nice. She's looking well, less bluish green as before. We kind of cut back on the nitrogen that we were giving it for the 444. So, we're looking well. As you can tell from the left side here, we do have top dressing or dry back because we have not watered in from the top dressing that we just did. Nice. Everything's looking well here, looking good. Just checking to see if we have any more gnat issues. Now at this point, it's looking as if the gnats have subsided or kind of slowed down of its growth. All from doing the diatomaceous earth and also adding in that there spray. What is it? Yeah. Spraying it down with the neem oil. Unfortunately, she's in full flower, and this is how big she's gonna get. Whilst we have ourselves a giant Photoperiod to its contending parts there. Like, that's horribly disrespectful. The Photoperiod is just dawning upon them. Yeah, the Photoperiod is gigantic compared to these here. But then again, you have to think about it. The Photoperiod's over 100 days in veg. Nice. We're just looking at this flowering structure. Beautiful, very beautiful. Do you see any kind of difference between the Gaia Green? Do you see any difference between the Fox Farm soil? Again, we have 3 on the left, Gaia Green. Fabric is Gaia Green. In the bottom right hand corner is the Fox Farm Happy Frog. So this is Happy Frog right here. I figured I was going to use Happy Frog just because we're having a little success with this here OG Kush and Happy Frog. And this is Gaia Green. So we are doing a comparison between the soils. But it's not like an apple to apple comparison because I'm not a scientist. I'm just doing this at home on my own time. Just experiment this without the proper tools. I'm just going off of what I see with my eyes. You can do the same thing like me too, get the same results. No. So we got ourselves here our jeweler's loot so I can see the trichomes and look how the plant is moving along here. For those that know, those that are new or fresh to this, we are looking for some ambering of the trichomes. We're looking for some milky white trichomes. It's okay to have a little crystal or clear, but we do not want that. We want to have some ambering trichomes, as you can tell here. And we're nearing to completion. And the trichomes turn a little amber when they are getting more matured and also milky white. So you have yourself some clear, you have yourself some white or milky white, and you have yourself some ambering of your trichomes, which looks like mushroom heads. That right there would be your indicator to note when your plant is finished or how long your plant has until it is finished. A lot of people think that it's the pistils, but it is not the pistils. I've thought about that in the past. I've thought about that. I've done that. We're in the future now. Tell past me, hey, dude, you're wrong. But it's at the same time as you live and you learn, man. You gotta read books. You gotta read a lot of things out there. You've got to watch a lot of things out there as well. We go inside the leaves. We're actually looking at the structure of the flower, and then we look at the leaves itself, because the leaves are not the indicator of the plant structure. It is just there. Those are just the leaves. You want to actually look at the flowering site itself to actually see if the plant's matured or not. And that's what we're looking at right now. We're looking at the middle of the plant, and she's looking well. I'm seeing a little clear, but we've still got ourselves a little bit more time, maybe about 3 or 4 weeks left until we're done with this plant itself. And if the plant gods bless us with their blessings, we should get past this here without any harm. No. I guess I can't take things too serious. I'm just a chill guy, you know? I'm just a chill guy. Okay? I'm too chilled to be taking things serious sometimes, and that's probably my issue. So we're looking at the middle of the flower, towards the middle or towards the lower part of the plant to see what we're looking like down here. I'm not seeing any kind of ambering. I do see a lot of milky white. That's the thing that I'm looking for personally, but I do see a lot of crystal or clear. Apologies. I do see a lot of clearing as well. Ugh, yuck. I have trichomes on the lens. It's hard to see. It's like boogers. No. Like dry spit. No. Oh, we're looking here. We're looking good here. Again, this is towards the middle of the plant itself and the actual flowering site, not the leaves. I know before I didn't really make or clarify that when I was talking about it in the last video or last grow, but I'm not looking at entirely the leaves. I am trying to get myself or get a little more in towards the plant's inner nodes, and I do like recording all of the structures so we can see what it looks like or get a sense of what it looks like throughout the plant.
I'll give it a tell.
All right, and we're back about, I don't know, I want to say 2 weeks now. Yeah, we're about 2 weeks later, and this is what we're looking like. Nice. Let's get a little bit more into it and see if we can see. Oh, ow. See if I can get into a little bit more and see what she's looking like. This is all the way underneath. Looking nice. It's looking all right. When I say underneath, I want to say like probably like the lower nodes now. It's this is the bottom lower nodes. Do 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 do. Looks like 007. Wow. Blowing in my ear, man. There's something in the lens. I'm trying to wipe it out, but look at it. It's just, I think I made it worse. I don't know, man. Oopsies. This situation was if it wasn't broken, don't fix it. But yeah, whatever. It looks a little bit more clear now. Yeah, we're good now. It looks a more clear. We're now looking at the structure, like I said, at the lower nodes towards the middle and towards the bottom of the plant, just to get a clear structure what it looks like down here below. We know at the top we're seeing a lot of ambering, or we're seeing somewhat around like 8%, 6% ambering, which is fairly fine with me. I like that. I'm not an aficionado about growing. I'm just some guy over here just growing, testing things out.
That's one bushy. But look at her. It's doing wonders. Before it was drooping. Drooping. Sorry, not drooping. That's a different person. No, don't worry about me. I didn't take no offense. We also got a little experiment going right here, where we already chopped off the top of the plant and left the rest of it to see what would happen. And it's clearly worked. So, yeah.
And here we go. But this is a look of it before we do anything to it. We're looking like we need a little defoliation. Nice. And there we go. Adding in some more clips. Do a little bit of defoliation. As you can tell, we also harvested some of the plants out of there because they were already finished. But we also have plants that are not finished, so we just kept them in there. And of course, this Photoperiod decided this wants to grow bigger, so we had to make more space, or like a higher platform for the Autoflowers. But then again, this was one of those grows, I tell you what. And there we go. We're just constantly finding ourselves watering here, and slowly with this here watering can. But it's okay. We'll figure things out in the future. This again is a multiple grow, but at the same time, this is still, I want to say, my 6th or 8th month growing. Yeah, I've been growing for about 8 months at this time. Coming in a year since it's been legal where I'm located at. But it may look like a lot of grows. It's just the same back-to-back rows because I don't know. I find myself doing more than I should be doing. I also wanted to try to test something out where I topped or chopped off one of the autoflower pots. And a lot of people said online that you can top the plant and the rest can grow. Let's go. And this is what we're looking like. One of the main things I'd do differently is next Northern Light grow would we keep them alone in their own tint and avoid introducing soil that I'm not already familiar with. That's probably one of the biggest takeaways from this at this point. Sometimes the lesson isn't about doing more. Sometimes it's about simplifying the setup. Walk up to your lady, be like, I love you. Happy birthday, happy anniversary, whichever one fits for this occasion. Or you could just say, have a good day. This is what we're looking like right now. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Exactly what I want to keep doing on this channel, learning, adjusting, and improving in every run. So that's gonna be it here for this video. This grow had a little bit of everything. Continued OG Kush veg, 5 Northern Lights, and fabric versus plastic pot comparison. Fox Farm versus Gaia Green, early fungal gnat issues, and failed cloning attempt. Repotting maturity checks, and sometimes soil lessons from the next round, and some soil lessons for the next round. If you've been following this journey, thank you for being here and growing along with me. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to see future cloning experiment, more setup changes, and even an auto pot test down the road, let me know below. As always, this is your boy, the Cosmic Cultivator. See you in the next one. Yeah.